You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Right now at 10 o'clock, taking a live look outside at the Transamerica Tower. It is December 5th. Lots to get to this morning as we follow stories in your community and all across the Bay Area. Thanks for being with us here on CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. Here's a look at some of our news headlines. Right now, excitement for next year's World Cup reaching a new high in the Bay Area and beyond. The final draw is happening right now, and any minute now we're going to learn which groups the teams will be placed into, which means that we'll know who will play here in the Bay Area. The draw is happening at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. We are also learning more right now about the mother and child killed in a fiery crash on Highway 87 in San Jose. They were identified as Ivana Balstereri and her baby daughter Liliana. They were in a Lexus that was involved in a crash with two Teslas. Happened on Tuesday. Their family is urging anyone who has videos or information to come forward as the investigation into the crash continues. And Facebook's parent company Meta is slashing the budget of the so-called Metaverse team by as much as 30%. 4 years ago, CEO Mark Zuckerberg said the Metaverse would be, quote, the successor to the mobile internet. But the project focused on virtual reality has yet to catch on with users. Now, a Meta spokesperson says the company is shifting investment from the Metaverse group toward hardware like AI glasses. All right, the weekend is just about here. Let's get a check on our first alert forecast now with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
Throughout the Bay Area today, we're gearing up for upper 50s and lower 60s. Pretty mild for us as we head outside this afternoon. Napa at 58 degrees, 60s along the coast and near Half Moon Bay. This is the time of year where all of our microclimates are pretty much hand in hand, from Morgan Hill off into the East Bay, stretched up into wine country too throughout this afternoon. Now, this is going to look very similar too as we dive into this weekend's forecast. Let's head over to the map. I want to show you a couple of things. A dense fog advisory was issued this morning from the National Weather Service for places like Solano County. As that Thule fog fills up the Sacramento Valley, it actually pulls its way through the Delta, and that's what we woke up to this morning. So dense fog will start to bleed off around 11 o'clock this afternoon, and then we're left with just partly cloudy skies in the forecast. Heading into the evening hours tonight, early morning hours tomorrow, that fog rolls in once again too. Now, throughout the next 7 days, we have pretty mild weather in store for us. Upper 50s and lower 60s widespread throughout the Bay Area. It's actually interesting. Our inland areas are dealing with cooler weather than some of us along the coast or along the bay. This is the time of year where we're all hand in hand, but at the end of the day, we're all seeing sunny skies diving into this weekend's forecast with more of that morning fog rolling in as we head into early next week. It's the reason why you see those tubes over there with that dense fog rolling in. That's the case all throughout the Bay Area from our inland spots to the bay. So enjoy the sunshine that we're going to see throughout the next couple days, because yes, that's going to look a lot different as we head into early next week. For now, back to you.
Thanks, Jess. Back to the Men's World Cup draw going on in Washington. This is the first time the U.S. has hosted the World Cup since the 90s. President Trump spoke about what it means for the country.
We're honored to have it here, and it's been very special. We've set a record on ticket sales, as you probably heard already, even long before the event itself. And we're working with Canada, and we're working with Mexico, and it's been a really spectacular. So far, it's been spectacular.
In all, 16 cities across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico will be hosting games. And excited soccer fans watched that draw from parties across the Bay Area, like PayPal Park in San Jose and Thrive City in San Francisco. You can see fans getting merch and kicking around the soccer ball there. Fans at both parties were super excited to see where their teams would end up.
Brother and I have been soccer fanatics since the day we were born. We were born into it. We played soccer all our life. It's been a lifelong dream to attend a World Cup, and I feel like this is the best time to do it. You know, it's so expensive to go anywhere else out in the world. We have it in our backyard this coming year, so we're very excited for it.
Originally from Algeria, and our country is qualified to the World Cup 2026, and we're so excited. And we really want Algeria to play in the United States. So since we live here in San Francisco, we will love them to be here. But if they send them to Mexico, Canada, it's going to be like a little bit harder, but we're going to go there too.
The Transportation Secretary said some 6 million people are expected to come to World Cup events, and work is underway to ensure that they're safe and the transit goes smoothly.
A lot of people are going to travel by airplane between the host cities. We are clearing the skies, clearing the decks, making sure air travel is going to be seamless. The FAA is already working on that. The one thing we can't control is the weather, so if we have weather issues that pop up, I don't have any control on that.
The first match in the Bay Area is scheduled for Saturday, June 13th. In Oakland, a memorial is taking place tonight to honor legendary football coach John Beam. The Laney College athletic director was fatally shot on campus on November 13th. Beam devoted decades of his life to mentoring and coaching athletes and future NFL greats. Skyline High School alumni are hosting the event to celebrate his life and remember his contributions. It begins at 6 p.m. at Everett and Jones Restaurant in Oakland. An overflow crowd is expected, so organizers say it is first come, first served. The process of picking a new police chief in Oakland has begun. Oakland Police Chief Floyd Mitchell has officially retired. Back in May, he took over a department in turmoil, dealing with the ongoing fallout from the firing of former Chief LaRon Armstrong. And one of the biggest challenges the next chief will face, crimes like this, where groups of thieves smash their way into a business and ransack the place. Katie Nielsen spoke to a pair of business owners about their hopes for the new chief. One who's considering leaving the town, and another putting down even more roots in the place he calls home.
Crime rates have been a concern for small business owners in Oakland for years. And now, with a leadership change coming at the police department, the big question they all have is, are things going to get better or possibly even worse?
We have, little small hole in the wall here at the restaurants.
Alan Liang was born and raised in Oakland and now runs a handful of businesses out of his building off the Hagenberger corridor, including 2 restaurants, an auto body shop, and an impound lot for a towing company.
Body shop, we're doing pretty okay. We're busy.
He says crime in the area has really impacted all of his businesses.
Across the street is the gas station. They used to rob people there, and we would witness it on a daily basis. A lot of that stuff. Break-ins, we had one maybe 2 weeks ago, both warehouses.
He says the turnover with multiple police chiefs in the city of Oakland over the past few years is a big part of the problem, because criminals see the city as a place where they can get away with anything.
People think it's okay for them to continue to commit crimes here in Oakland, and they know that it's a very slim chance that they're going to get caught.
Across town in the Laurel, Richard Santana is actually expanding his coffee business, Cafe Santana, and just recently bought a new building to open another location just a mile away.
I believe in Oakland. I believe that it is a very appealing place to be. The diversity, the culture, the food.
He says buying the new building is a major investment for him and his family in the future of the city. But as an Oakland native, there weren't many other viable options.
Sure, we have doubts sometimes, especially opening up a business. But this is a beautiful place to be. I'm going to do my part to make it a productive, loving, caring community.
Santana says while the chief of police is an important role in the city, it's not the only factor when it comes to issues with crime.
My hope is that it doesn't just fall on this one person, and that as a city, there are efforts being made to make the community safe, to invest in the community.
While both business owners have differing opinions on the issues surrounding crime in the city, they both are committed for the same reason. It's home.
I still have a lot of faith in this community, and that's why I want to stay.
I'm staying here because this is home. This is my life. This is where I want to be.
So here is what is going to happen next. Mayor Barbara Lee says the police commission will conduct the search, and they're going to give her a list of at least 3 top candidates, and then she's going to have the choice to either appoint one of those finalists or reject them and start the process over. We are following 2 separate stabbings in San Francisco. One of them involved a social worker at San Francisco General Hospital who is in critical condition today. A patient at the hospital stabbed that worker. Investigators say the patient first threatened a doctor at SF General's HIV clinic. The sheriff's office says they sent a deputy who then heard a disturbance in the hallway and then found the patient stabbing the social worker in the neck and shoulders. The deputy was able to restrain that person, who is now in custody. Meanwhile, an inmate is recovering after being stabbed during a fight at a San Francisco jail. Deputies recovered a folding knife at the scene yesterday. The person who was stabbed went to the hospital. The suspect remains in jail where they started, but now facing new charges. An investigation is underway. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, a year after that battery fire in Monterey County, we're getting a much clearer picture of the toxic chemicals that fire spewed into the surrounding waterways. Plus, millions of people warned to take cover from a major earthquake that never happened. What officials are saying about the faulty alert.
All throughout the Bay Area today, we're gearing up for upper 50s and lower 60s with that morning fog clearing up fast as we head into the afternoon hours. We're gearing up for sunny skies as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Beautiful weather to get out there and get some fresh air, but notice those temperatures. It is a little cool for this time of year, especially in our inland areas. You make your way all the way over into the Bay. Believe it or not, we're actually seeing warmer weather in places like San Francisco and Oakland as we head into the next couple days. Sunny skies also on tap for us there along our coastal communities, but that morning fog rolls back in heading into next week.
Well, today, Senator Adam Schiff is in San Francisco to promote a new affordable housing increase plan for the entire nation. He's hosting a news conference at a new housing site with San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie and Congresswoman Latifah Simon. The LA Times reports that Schiff's bill would create a $10 billion annual loan fund and a $5 million grant program to build more homes for low and middle income families. The proposal would also help cities turn hotels and other empty buildings into transitional housing or homeless shelters. Democrats in Congress are making affordability, especially housing costs, a central part of their message as they look ahead to the midterm elections. Well, there is a massive cleanup underway in Monterey County nearly a year after a fire ignited inside a power plant in Moss Landing. It is the largest battery facility in the world, burned for several days, sending massive plumes of smoke into the air. And researchers from San Jose State University are now revealing what they found in the soil just days after the fire. 55,000 pounds of toxic metals within a mile of the plant. Our new Central Coast reporter, Scott Rates, is in Moss Landing with a breakdown of the findings and reaction from people who live nearby.
Well, this newly released study consisted of a portion of the Elkhorn Slough, about 300 acres. Researchers say that they determined that about 55,000 pounds of toxic metal blanketed that area. We're talking about things like cobalt and nickel, things you would find in a lithium-ion battery. Now, nearly a year after the fire, neighbors out here tell me that these findings are concerning.
When I looked out the window and I saw the flames, I immediately started getting all my evacuation stuff together.
We watched the formation of this huge cloud as it gradually thickened in depth and came towards our houses.
It wasn't a normal fire, it was fueled.
For the folks who live here at Moss Landing, memories of this are still at the forefront.
Federal, state, and county people showed up at this huge fire unprepared.
Now, for the first time, we are learning about the chemical compounds that came from that thick smoke down into the soil. Researchers at San Jose State's Moss Landing Marine Lab have been monitoring the Elkhorn Slough area.
The slough is screwed.
According to the report, researchers found elevated levels of copper, nickel, manganese, and cobalt in soil samples. These heavy metals found in lithium-ion batteries can be toxic.
And that dirt blows over the top of us every night.
And finding 55,000 pounds of heavy metals falling into the estuary proves that pollution was carried by the plume downwind.
The thing that really strikes me as unconscionable is to have an enormous facility with that kind of risk right next to sensitive wetlands.
As we're learning more about the environmental fallout, a massive cleanup process is currently underway under the oversight of the EPA. The burnt batteries have been disconnected from one another and removed. However, there is still more work that needs to be done. The EPA would not comment on the new findings, only saying that it is overseeing Vistra as it conducts air sampling. Now, the question on everyone's mind who lives here is, will this battery plant come back online.
Battery storage is a really important green concept, but it needs to be away from sensitive areas.
So you think if they put this thing back online, there's a good chance it could happen again?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, no, I know. There's no doubt in my mind.
We have also been following the pushback to President Trump's plans to expand oil drilling off the California coast. More than 24 California Democrats, including former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, sent a letter to the White House condemning the plan. They call the move outright reckless and warn that drilling would have devastating impacts on the environment, military readiness, and tourism. Under the plan, up to 6 offshore drilling leases could be granted off the Pacific coast. It is opening day for Kirkwood Mountain Resort in the Lake Tahoe area. The resort has opened its doors to skiers and snowboarders after a delayed start to the season. And we spoke with Ricky Newberry with Kirkwood Mountain Resort to find out what those hitting the slopes can expect this season.
So yeah, with 2,300 acres, 2 miles of ridge line, 15 lifts, and yeah, we run through the end of April. So really excited to get the season started today and look forward to the next 150 days of operation.
Kirkwood's normal ski season typically runs from late November through late April, depending on snowfall. Well, questions remain about that false earthquake shake alert, warning thousands across the Bay Area of a 5.9 magnitude earthquake in Nevada. And the only problem, the USGS later reported, that quake actually never happened. Kelsey Thorne explains the false alarm.
Like thousands of people across the Bay, Jose Alberto Gomez woke up just after 8 Thursday morning to a shake alert, warning him of a 5.9 magnitude earthquake in western Nevada.
I didn't feel it just when I wake up, just I saw the message on my phone. That was earthquake alert, but I didn't feel anything.
Jose didn't feel anything because that earthquake never happened. According to USGS officials, multiple sensors in that area, about 10 miles northeast of Carson City, wrongly detected a large earthquake, causing alerts to go out to phones with the MyShake app as far west as San Francisco and as far south as Fresno.
Everything on the processing side and the alert delivery side happened exactly the way it should have. What happened was that something happened out there in the field that we don't know what occurred.
Robert DeGroot, the Shake Alert operations team lead with USGS, says in order for alerts to be sent out, at least 4 separate seismic stations have to record the same ground movement. He says for some unknown reason, 4 stations in that part of Nevada recorded a 5.9 magnitude earthquake. When an earthquake recording is that big, alerts are sent out to phones almost immediately to try and give people enough time to find shelter.
That allows the people who are closer to the earthquake and potentially in more danger to have a little bit more time to take that protective action, drop cover, and hold on.
Enrico Marchi is visiting San Francisco from Italy. He told me the alert surprised him.
A little confused, but it was okay. I went outside with her, and it was fun.
DeGroot says if this earthquake had been real, people even this far west of the epicenter would have felt it. That's why folks in the Bay Area got alerts. He told me the alert system itself worked exactly how it was supposed to. The mystery now is why those sensors in Nevada recorded movement that didn't actually happen.
This particular occurrence is something that we haven't seen before, and certainly we're going to learn from it. We don't want this to happen again, but it's interesting in the sense that we have sort of the same stations telling us something is going on. So that's going to take some time to figure out.
DeGroot told me when it comes to the alert system, they are always trying to balance accuracy with speed. Scientists still do not know how to predict earthquakes, so every second matters when that first ground movement is detected.
We always want to try to maximize the public safety benefits of Shake Alert, where in some cases someone may get an alert, may feel just a little bit of shaking, but in many cases that alert, that shaking level could continue to grow.
Jose told me he gets it. He wasn't at all upset by this false alarm because he understands the danger a real earthquake can pose.
We have to know exactly what to do. If there is gonna be a false or real alert, but if we know exactly what to do, so we have to get out if we have a chance, right?
Well, Shake Alert has issued 170 alerts for real earthquakes. This is the first time it issued an early warning for a quake that didn't happen. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, we are taking a trip to the Oakland Zoo for a holiday favorite.
You see the landmarks in Oakland, the Fox Theater, Chabot Space and Science Center, Children's Fairyland.
We are going to show you what's new at this year's Glofari and why zoo leaders say they have a larger message.
Gearing up for 60s as we head into this afternoon. That green color you see below me is that coastal flood advisory. This stretches all the way down into places like Monterey and up into Santa Cruz too. But let's head back to the Bay real fast because places like Sausalito have been dealing with localized flooding, especially in those low-lying areas. So if you work in these areas and if you're commuting to work or school this morning, or if you even live in these areas, be very careful out there on the roads. This is possible until Sunday as the king tides have returned to the Bay. We're going to keep a close eye on that. And by the way, remember that dense fog advisory we were just talking about? That's stretched all the way throughout the Sacramento Valley today, but that does pull its way into the Delta, close to Solano County. And that gray color, that dense fog advisory, also issued by the National Weather Service, will expire around 11 a.m. this morning. At that point, daytime highs are going to rise to the upper 50s and lower 60s, so a pretty mild forecast for us today once we head into this afternoon. To talk a little bit more about that fog, though, it stretches 400 miles deep all along the Sacramento Valley, but it does pull its way over closer to places like Antioch, stretched all the way over into Concord and Walnut Creek. We could see a little bit of that this morning too, but that will clear up as we head into the afternoon hours.
Well, we all know the excitement and smells of going to a normal petting zoo. Well, girls at one school in Palo Alto brought the zoo to their classroom without all the mess. Middle school students at Castaheya designed and built robots that could interact with their classmates. You can see they got creative with colorful designs and costumes. There was a dragon that could flap its wings, a cookie monster that ate cookies and could talk, and even a French baguette with a moving mustache. One student told us about her creation.
We get the task of having to use wheels and a distance sensor, and then we kind of get to pick, and we're directed in the general area of using of trying to make an animal type thing. Mine is a combination of a bunch of different animals.
The girls are mentored by students from the high school robotics team with the goal of encouraging young women to pursue STEM. The lights are shining bright at the Oakland Zoo. It is the 6th annual Glofari, and they have some new themes and something special that the team is proud to share. Our Suji Nam spoke with the zoo's CEO about how Glofari has become a love letter to Oakland.
So this is my favorite part that we're coming to.
It's the most wonderful time of the year for Oakland Zoo CEO Nick DeHagia.
When you come and see this, you see the landmarks in Oakland. The Fox Theater, Chabot Space and Science Center, Children's Fairyland, Oakland Museum.
It's Glofari's newest exhibit called The Future of Oakland.
We have so much conflict with wildlife, not just in Oakland, in the Bay Area. How do we ensure that animals, this is their home as well? How do they thrive and coexist together? Overpasses, sometimes it's underpasses.
Sitting in the morning sun. It's a glowing love letter to the city of Oakland.
The Tribune building.
DeHagia and his team have been building these light exhibits throughout the zoo for more than a month. And now, colorful lanterns illuminate the sky.
Our regional transit, BART right here. And you know what's exciting about this? When you walk in, look at this. The whole idea is that you're seeing nature. You're seeing landscape. Those lights, look.
Matt Greeny and his children visit the zoo at least once a week.
The Oakland Zoo is one of the jewels that the city has to offer, and in general the East Bay.
It's their first time at Glofari, but certainly won't be their last.
We already have our tickets for next month too.
Bringing joy to families like the Greenies.
Thanks for coming to Glofari.
Inspires DeHagia, who has been with the Oakland Zoo for the past 20 years.
This place brings so much joy to people every day. with the thousands of people that come in, almost 1 million every year.
And as he strolls through the Bug World exhibit, he's proud to see it all come to life.
Scary.
Well, maybe not supersized bugs come to life.
Think about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and here I am inside a log. How do I get out?
This holiday season, Dehejia hopes to send this message.
Nature is not a place to visit, it's our home. And that's what this is in Oakland. This is our home.
Whether you admire the twinkling lights from the sky or from the ground, he wants to share his dreams of a brighter future for the city he loves.
Glowfari runs through January 25th. Coming up in our next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, she's back. A familiar face in the East Bay, receiving backlash once again. We're going to hear from voters in Alameda County about Pamela Price's rerun for DA. And let's take a live look outside before we head to break. Plenty of fog hanging around San Francisco right now at 10:31, and a clearer pic over the Bay Bridge. We're going to have your top stories and another look at your first alert forecast when we come back.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for staying with us this Friday. I'm Ann Makovic, and here's another look at our news headlines. Excitement for next year's Men's World Cup reaching a new high in the Bay Area and beyond. Final draw is happening now. Mexico, we're learning, is going to be in Group A, Canada in Group B, and the U.S. will be in Group D. And any minute now, we're going to find out what that means as far as what teams are going to be playing here in the Bay Area. The draw is happening at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. We're going to keep you updated as we learn more. We are now learning more about the mother and child killed in a fiery crash on Highway 87 in San Jose. They're identified as Ivana Balstereri and her baby daughter Liliana. On Tuesday at around 11 a.m., they were in a Lexus that was involved in a crash with 2 Teslas. Their family right now is urging anybody who might have any video or any information to come forward as the investigation into the crash continues. And cuts for Facebook's parent company Meta, slashing the budget of the so-called metaverse team by as much as 30%. 4 years ago, CEO Mark Zuckerberg said the metaverse would be, quote, the successor to the mobile internet, but the project focused on virtual reality has yet to catch on with users. Now, a Meta spokesperson says the company is shifting investment from the metaverse group toward hardware like AI glasses. All right, let's get another check on our first alert forecast because the weekend is just about upon us. It is Friday. Here's meteorologist Jessica Birch.
Throughout the Bay Area today, we're gearing up for upper 50s and lower 60s. Pretty mild for us as we head outside this afternoon. Napa at 58 degrees, 60s along the coast and near Half Moon Bay. This is the time of year where all of our microclimates are pretty much hand in hand, from Morgan Hill off into the East Bay, stretched up into wine country too throughout this afternoon. Now, this is going to look very similar too as we dive into this weekend's forecast. Let's head over to the map. I want to show you a couple of things. A dense fog advisory was issued this morning from the National Weather Service for places like Solano County. As that Thule fog fills up the Sacramento Valley, it actually pulls its way through the Delta, and that's what we woke up to this morning. So dense fog will start to bleed off around 11 o'clock this afternoon, and then we're left with just partly cloudy skies in the forecast. Heading into the evening hours tonight, early morning hours tomorrow, that fog rolls in once again too. Now, throughout the next 7 days, we have pretty mild weather in store for us. Upper 50s and lower 60s widespread throughout the Bay Area. It's actually interesting. Our inland areas are dealing with cooler weather than some of us along the coast or along the bay. This is the time of year where we're all hand in hand, but at the end of the day, we're all seeing sunny skies diving into this weekend's forecast with more of that morning fog rolling in as we head into early next week. It's the reason why you see those tubes over there with that dense fog rolling in. That's the case all throughout the Bay Area from our inland spots to the bay. So enjoy the sunshine that we're going to see throughout the next couple days because, yes, that's going to look a lot different as we head into early next week. For now, back to you.
Well, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is heading to California now. He left D.C. this morning, facing intensifying questions over the U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats off the coast of Venezuela. And a Pentagon watchdog report into his use of the messaging app Signal. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
The U.S. military announced a 20-second strike on an alleged drug boat Thursday, killing 4 people the administration identifies as narco-terrorists. It comes as Operation Southern Spear faces increased scrutiny on Capitol Hill, with lawmakers questioning Navy Admiral Frank Bradley Thursday about a second strike on a boat in September that killed 2 survivors of an initial attack. Congressman Jim Himes, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, was among those shown unedited footage of the incident.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service. You have 2 individuals in clear distress, without any means of locomotion, with a destroyed vessel, who were killed by the United States.
But Republican Tom Cotton, who chairs the Senate Intelligence Committee, called the strikes lawful.
I saw 2 survivors trying to flip a boat loaded with drugs down for the United States, back over, so they could stay in the fight.
Lawmakers from both parties said Admiral Bradley told them Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not give the order to, quote, kill them all, as was reported by the Washington Post.
The White House has made clear President Trump remains confident in Secretary Hegseth, even as some Democratic lawmakers call for him to resign, especially in light of a new Pentagon Inspector General report.
The report found Hegseth did not comply with Defense Department policies when he used his personal cell phone and the messaging app Signal to relay sensitive military information about an operation in Yemen in March to other top administration officials. The report also found Hegseth's actions created a risk to operational security that could have resulted in failed U.S. mission objectives and potential harm to U.S. pilots. Hegseth described the report as a total exoneration, saying no classified information was shared.
The report noted that Secretary Hegseth has the authority to declassify information, but also said based on its review, some of the details shared matched information sent as, quote, secret. The U.S. Supreme Court says Texas can use its newly redrawn congressional map. That is despite a lower court order that the map likely violates the Constitution and illegally dilutes the political power of Black and Latino voters. Conservative justices on the high court say they're allowing the map because it's too close to the primary in March to change it again. Republican lawmakers in Texas hope to gain as many as 5 congressional seats to try to preserve a House majority in next year's elections. In response, voters here in California, of course, passed Prop 50 to add as many as 5 Democratic seats. A Republican lawsuit against that measure is now pending. Negotiations are picking up again as a teacher strike in the East Bay enters a second day. More than 1,000 teachers walked off the job on Thursday in the West Contra Costa Unified School District. The 2 sides are at odds over numerous issues, including salaries and health benefits. The union rejected the district's offer of a 3% raise, which the district said is the highest it can go because of its huge budget deficit. Then negotiators returned to the bargaining table late yesterday, but the president of the teachers union in Richmond says the strike will continue until their demands are met.
We have 70 vacancies in our district, which is 9 times more than what the average district in Contra Costa County has. It's really up to the bargaining team to ensure that we're coming into that meeting with the question, will this proposal bring stability to our students?
Schools are still open during the strike. Recalled Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price is mounting a new campaign to win her old job back. She first took office on a progressive reform agenda about a year ago. Then voters removed her from office in a recall. That comes after months of criticism over her approach to crime and public safety. Andrea Nakano explains why Price says she deserves another shot and why her opponents say voters have already said no once.
We will have a few speakers, and then we are standing here before you today in love, out of a love for our community, a love for our families, a love of justice.
Pamela Price announced plans to run for Alameda County District Attorney Thursday, a position she was recalled from in November 2024. Brenda Grisham, a victim's advocate, led the recall campaign. She says she was surprised by the announcement and doesn't believe things will be any different the second time around.
You know, we've been watching her over the year, and I don't see any change. You know, you can say what you're going to do, which is what you should have did in the first place. If you coming into that office, the victims are a very, very important part of the district attorney's office. and to be able to have a communication line with the victims is key. And that was never there.
Price vowed to tackle gun violence and Trump administration policies. She says she was compelled to get her old job back after seeing ICE raids in communities across the county.
I will say to ICE and any other federal agents who violate state law, F around and find out. No one is above the law, and I will stand for firmness in every case and fairness. Real justice applies to everyone. Justice cannot be bought by billionaires.
But Grisham, who lost her son to gun violence in 2010, feels victims didn't get the justice they deserved under Price's term. Criticism for taking too soft of a stance on crime fueled much of the momentum behind Price's recall.
I was there for the Kevin Nishida case. I was there for, the little Emiliana. There was no special circumstances. I mean, they killed that little 5-year-old girl in front of her family, and there was no special circumstances. There was nothing.
Price, though, feels the political climate has changed since the recall. She says since President Trump has taken office, the political pendulum has swung to the left, with voters looking to elect progressive district attorneys.
In 2024 in Alameda County, we saw that same carnage. The destabilization of our justice system by a single billionaire, and his wannabe wealthy friends who spent millions of dollars on a recall campaign to destabilize our justice system.
During Price's term, Oakland saw the highest number of murders in the past decade, with 114 in 2023. Many other violent crime categories saw significant increases as well. Grisham says Price still refuses to acknowledge that the people of Alameda County wanted a district attorney that would help make communities safer.
The whole time she's been bypassing the fact that they're everyday citizens that felt they needed change, and she ignored them. And she's still ignoring them because she's just going with the billionaires and this, that, and the third. That's not, you got to sit down and look in the mirror and say, it might have been me.
Well, Alameda County District Attorney Ursula Jones-Dixon shared a statement on Price's announcement, saying in part former DA Pamela Price was recalled by 63% of voters. She's welcome to make the case less than a year after that recall that they were wrong. I trust the judgment of Alameda County voters. Coming up next here on CBS News Bay Area, a more sustainable way to hang 10, how this Santa Cruz company is making waves in this week's Project Earth.
All throughout the Bay Area today, we're gearing up for upper 50s and lower 60s with that morning fog clearing up fast as we head into the afternoon hours. We're gearing up for sunny skies as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Beautiful weather to get out there and get some fresh air, but notice those temperatures. It is a little cool for this time of year, especially in our inland areas. You make your way all the way over into the Bay. Believe it or not, we're actually seeing warmer weather in places like San Francisco and Oakland as we head into the next couple days. Sunny skies also on tap for us there along our coastal communities, but that morning fog rolls back in heading into next week.
A new study shows that young adults are turning to AI chatbots for mental health advice. According to this survey, 1 in 5 people between the ages of 12 and 18 say they have used a chatbot, and about 2/3 of them say that they use them every month. The data also showed that nearly all the users found those chatbots' advice helpful. Researchers contributed these findings to the low cost of AI and the perceived privacy of chatbots. That study comes as OpenAI faces several lawsuits related to mental health advice generated by its chatbot, ChatGPT. The suits allege the chatbot encouraged harmful ideation and even suicide. Earlier this week, the company responded to one of those lawsuits, arguing it shouldn't be held responsible because the teenager bypassed security features, safety features, and violated the platform's terms of use. On today's Project Earth, surfing made sustainable. A recent survey found 92% of surfers feel some sort of personal responsibility to help protect the ocean. But most of the millions of surfboards made each year are not environmentally friendly. Now, a Santa Cruz startup hopes to help surfers catch the next wave in a way that's better for the planet. Steamer Lane, an iconic California surf spot in Santa Cruz. It's a slice of paradise.
See you in a little.
For surfer Tyler James.
The ocean's so powerful, and It holds such a good place in my heart. When you're out there, it's just you and the ocean. It's something so special about it.
On this day, it is extra special. After a jump off the bluffs and paddling into position, Tyler's trying something new, a high-performance surfboard custom made for him. Tyler's board is 3D printed using a biodegradable plant-based plastic. Most surfboards are carved out of blocks of foam made from fossil fuel.
This is the future, I think, of surfing.
An estimated 40% of foam cut away from a board is thrown into landfill.
You can even see the light through it.
These boards are foam-free.
That thing is hollow. There's channels, all these channels right here.
They're created at Swell Cycle with just enough bioplastic filament called polylactic acid, or PLA for short.
Which is compostable in a very specific condition. Basically made mostly from corn or sugarcane, anything that can be turned into sugar. There's 2 boards here.
Swell Cycle's Dr. Lisbeth Van Hassel says the boards are then laminated, making them waterproof and stronger than foam. The startup works with board designers like Spina. Swell Cycle then brings it to life.
We're developing tools to make manufacturing more sustainable.
Patricio Guerrero is CEO and co-founder.
We're looking at different processes and seeing how we can take advantage of waste reduction opportunities through 3D printing, additive manufacturing, where you're actually laying down exactly the material you need, rather than subtracting it from a big block of foam.
In our process, we keep all the waste that we generate, which is pretty low, but still we keep them, and this material is completely recyclable.
Swell Cycle throws demo days when surfers can try out the boards. At Pleasure Point, they were a hit.
They're really fast, they're really fun, like they're not your traditional board. It was a blast.
Tyler is now an ambassador for the brand.
It's so important for surfers to understand if we want to keep surfing that we gotta care about our oceans. We gotta care about the process that's making our boards.
Riding the wave of positive change. Well, Swell Cycle's next demo days are happening right now through December. They're going to post the dates on their website, which you can find on ours, kpix.com. Coming up here on CBS News Bay Area, it is a reimagined version of the Nutcracker. What's changing this year for a holiday tradition in San Francisco?
You know that feeling when you pull into town and you feel like you're home?
Well, for 40 years, it's been one of San Francisco's most unmistakable holiday traditions, a Nutcracker that never does the same show twice. But as our Itai Hod reports, this weekend, the dance-along Nutcracker is clicking its heels straight into Oz.
For decades, orchestras around the world have rung in the holidays the same way, with a rumble of tuning and Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker just beginning to stir. But here in the heart of San Francisco, a very familiar score is about to take an undeniably wicked turn.
This year, we're going to go into the magical world of Oz.
Whenever I see someone.
Michael Wong is the guest conductor of this year's Dance-Along Nutcracker. The holiday show where audiences don't just watch, they join in.
Dancing through life.
And this time, it's heading straight down the yellow brick road.
How does Wicked and the Nutcracker go together?
Well, honestly, it really doesn't. The Nutcracker, if you think about it, doesn't really have much of a story. So every year we create a theme where Clara and Fritz go through some magical adventure.
Started in the 80s by the San Francisco Pride Band, the first openly gay music organization in the world, the dance-along began as an event for LGBTQ adults. Until families started showing up. By the 90s, kids were twirling down the aisles, and the show became one of the city's most inclusive holiday traditions.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day.
This is cast member Zelda Koznovsky's 9th year, and her first as the villain.
How do you play a good villain?
How do you play a good villain is...
You go like this a lot?
Yes.
Proceeds from the show help fund the band's free performances. But with the LGBTQ community facing its own kind of cyclone, this year's celebration lands with even more purpose.
There have been times where we're like, do we even need a queer band anymore? But with recent politics, it's much more important to really own who we are.
And if they get it right, the only thing melting this weekend will be the audience's hearts.
A Wicked Dance-Along Nutcracker runs this weekend with 2 performances on Saturday and 2 on Sunday at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts Forum. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your first alert forecast and another look at your top stories.